Hey everyone, I hope you are all having a wonderful day. Today's drawing practice and drawing session is going to be on hands. The only thing you're going to need for this drawing lesson or session is your hand to reference it for our sketches. I have been digging into Dynamic Human Anatomy by Robert Oste. I got this book at the library and I've really been enjoying it. This book really breaks down how to draw the human figure, including arms, legs, hands, feet. And while we have really been diving into faces and somewhat figures, we're going to keep challenging ourselves to improve our drawing skills. And one of the hardest things in my mind, for me personally, is drawing hands. So I have been practicing using this book as a guide for drawing hands. And I'm going to just walk you through my process for drawing hands. And if you're looking for a great study guide, I find this book extremely helpful, and I can't wait to continue drawing and practicing the human figure with this book. So grab a pencil and just your hand, and we are going to start drawing. So there are a couple ways for beginners to draw hands, and I'm still a beginner at hands, but we are just going to practice looking at the shape of our hand and how to draw it. If you take a close look at your hand, you can see that your palm is, you can actually make it a square if you want to. Let's make it into a square, and we'll adjust as we go. And then you've got your thumb coming out of that, and you can consider that like almost like a triangle coming out of this square, right? So this is your palm, and this is where the thumb is coming out, okay? That's kind of how our hand looks. Now the palm of your hand kind of comes up where your index finger is, and then kind of slopes down a bit like this, and then there is almost like a curve. If you're just looking at the palm of your hand, you can see how that works. And so I'm just kind of making these adjustments, and you can simply see that square with the triangle coming out of it. The next thing you want to do is almost draw like, it's almost like a mitten, right? A mitten. Okay, we're drawing a mitten here, and I do recommend looking at your hand as you do this, because a lot of times I will look at my hand as I do it. It just makes it a lot easier. But if we divide this in half, okay, divide this in half, we know that our middle finger is going to come to the top, and we're going to bring it down. I like to divide this up right away into the different areas of the finger. So there's that top part, the middle part, and the bottom part. And then we're going to bring the index finger. I use these lines of the joints as reference. So my index finger, kind of like this, where those lines are, it falls differently. And then when I look at my other finger there, my ring finger, it's almost the same height as my index finger. So I'm just sort of mapping it in and looking at those joint lines, the finger joints, and bringing it down. And it's really starting to look like a hand. And then you've got your pinky finger, and my pinky finger is a little bit lower. I'll do that. There we go. So you just kind of have to look at your own hand and what it looks like and continually reference as you go. I feel like this thumb looks a little odd, but that's okay. That's just a simple way to draw hands. That's just our first practice. And I like to actually look at the lines in my hands and where they go as I draw. You're almost drawing like a mitten, and then drawing all the details afterwards. Another way to do this, if you're unsure of the measurements, is to draw a rectangle We're going to divide it like a little below center and then in the center. We're going to draw our square. This is going to be the palm of the hand. Remember, it's a square and we'll make adjustments as we go. Then we're going to draw like a triangle kind of coming out of that square, which indicates the thumb. Your hand has sort of a curve if you're looking at your palm. The other part of your palm is almost like a circle. And I'm looking at my own hand as I do this. The thumb comes out and again, we're just mapping it in and we can make adjustments as we go. Now, the next part is to get that mitten in there. I call it a mitten, okay? We're going to sort of bring that mitten up. It's like an upside down U. I like to bring this palm up a bit because we know that finger, like it's a curve. If you look at the palm of your hand, it's almost an arch there before, and then we have that mitten. And we're gonna take that middle finger because that is the longest finger, and we're going to draw, I'd say like a cone. We're just going to leave it like that. And then we're going to draw the index finger, the ring finger, and then we've got the pinky finger, which is significantly shorter than the other fingers. And when you're learning to draw anything, hands, feet, it doesn't matter what it is, it's not going to be perfect, so you really have to let go of that. I do see a lot of videos on YouTube with drawing and everything's perfection, but as you learn, nothing is perfection. It's just not. And pretending that you can draw right away at the beginning is almost like fooling ourselves. We know that we have to make mistakes. We know that it's not going to be perfect, and we really cannot expect perfection when we're doing this. So just keep that in mind. And that's why when I'm drawing with my pencil, and I'm looking at my hand right now, when I draw with my pencil, I know that I'm going to make adjustments, but also I'm doing this video knowing that my hand is not going to be perfect, and that's okay. I'm really looking at the finger joints as I do this too, because they don't line up, right? They don't line up at all. And I assume everyone's fingers and hands kind of vary a bit. So play around with that. Look at your hand as you're doing it. The biggest difference for me is my pinky right here. And I'm just kind of trying to get that in there. And then the hand kind of comes out a bit. It's not like a perfect square, so I'm kind of just trying to... I also really like making the lines of the hand. I feel like it kind of brings it together. But do not, like this is a mess, do not expect perfection because you're not going to have it when you draw hands. And I am practicing drawing hands. I'm not, teaching you the perfect way to do it. We're just practicing and seeing what we can do. My favorite hands that I drew today were these two. And so what I'm going to do now is show you how I drew them, okay? Using the method of drawing a rectangle and then mapping it in. Make sure you look at your hand as you're drawing and looking at those finger joints and seeing how everything looks. But start with the rectangle and the triangle coming out. It really helped for me, and then adding that mitten part. Don't forget, I do have a Facebook group where people are sharing their drawings that they've done along with me in my videos. It's called Krista Irene Art. If you go to my Facebook page called Krista Irene Art, the link to the group is right there. I'd love to see your hands. They don't have to be perfect. There's no perfection required on this channel or in my Facebook group. It's just a place where we can share our drawings. So I'm going to show you how I drew this hand using this method again, and then we're going to wrap it up. I hope this hand drawing practice session was helpful for you. I'd love to hear from you how your drawings went. Again, this is my book that I've been using that I got from the library. Super helpful in drawing anatomy. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy sketching.